In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy CryptoKeeper, and we've got a couple special guests in the house for TA Thursday. We've got CVO Crypto and Piano Matty B. CVO, you're here every week. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, my friend. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Glad that you are here. And Matty, first time on the show, brother. We are excited to have you. How are you doing this evening?
Great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. For those of you that don't follow Piano Matty B, make sure that you give him a follow. Obviously, follow CVO as well. But you know, he's one of the old heads around the show. So make sure that you follow CVO. Check him out, or make sure you follow Piano Matty B. His information is down below the video, as is CVO's. So their information is down below. What just happened? We literally just went from 20 people to 1. It's almost like it kicked everybody out. Now it's back. Okay. At any event, yeah. Follow Piano Matty B. His information is down below the stream. You guys know what to do. Let's smash the likes. Let's have some fun tonight. It's TA Thursday. If you have questions, I really want to involve the chat more. I want to do a better job trying to get the chat to be able to throw some random live questions in there. Obviously, we're paying attention whether it's a super chat or not. Super chats are always appreciated. Helps support the channel. But yeah, if you guys have some questions, toss them in there. Let's take a look at the market. We'll start off there, and then I'll get into what the charts are looking like. All right, so we have got the overall cryptocurrency market cap. It was up over $1 trillion yesterday, but we're back down to 983.74 billion with the B dollars. That is down 2.13%. We've got Bitcoin still up over 20, down a couple percent today. ETH still up over 1,500, down a few percent today, down about 3.7%. The rest of the top 10 basically following suit. Cardano down at number 8, down about 3.5%. Solana, maybe the network's running, maybe it's not, who knows, but it's down 1.95%. And then the only outlier, and we're going to talk about this, so stick around. If y'all like a little Dogecoin, CVO's got a little heat to bring about Dogecoin. Look, Dogecoin up 7.09% today and up almost 30% on the week. So I actually am really interested. I'm not the meme coin guy. For those of you that have followed me for any amount of time, you know I'm not the meme coin guy. But you know, we'll go hard on this one. We like our boy Elon. Hopefully, he's gonna give the power back to the people and get some free speech stuff going on. So we'll talk a little Dogecoin. Let's kick it off. So, Matty, we have seen the last couple days, especially actually pretty much this week, if memory serves, we've had a little bit of a positive pump in the market. What are we looking at? Is this strictly information coming from speculations from the Fed, or is this a charting? Is there things on the charts that you're seeing that say, hey, this was expected?
Well, let's take a look at some charts. I'm going to see if this actually works here. Oh, success. Yeah.
Oh, look.
We have the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. We kind of broke out of our descending channel. I think we went to 20.4, I think. And then there is the 23.2% fib we bounced off of. And then yesterday went straight to 21K. Then we came down, and then we formed this cute little bear flag. And of course, the probability of this bear flag, if you take that pole, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at 22.5. That was my bullish forecast.
Okay.
However, you have to keep an eye on that 38.2 fib down at, I think it was 20.3, and we just breached it right there. We kind of hit that 20 moving average. So my thesis on the 4-hour chart is if we can't hold this level, basically this pump was just a nothing pump. Just kind of came and went, and we'll probably go back down to that, which is now support, but was our resistance lying in that descending channel.
I got to tell you, first of all, let me just say, Matty, I have never seen what you just did.
Presentation is on point.
I mean, listen, you earned an invite back just
all right
off of that.
Boom, there we go.
Fire. That was absolutely fire. CVO, you taking notes on that program he was talking about before?
Yeah, man. I'm keeping an eye on Bigfoot in the background.
I know. I'm telling you, you're bringing a whole new level of TA to the game. No, I really like that. So let me just ask you, just as a total aside, Maddie, was that a full already piece of content that was playing as if it's almost a video, and then you're talking through it? Because I didn't see you clicking on anything.
Yeah, that was my TA I did today this morning. Of course, I had to put in the chart as of 20 minutes, but I have it built in the morning. Wow. We can take awesome. The daily and the weekly later if you want as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's super dope. Paul, what do you see going on in the let's start with Bitcoin for you. Have you guys been watching I know a lot of times you guys are looking at money flow coming in and out, what the order books look like, things of that nature. How have things been looking in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, so, just as, we've been kind of range bound for so long, just pulled up my screen right there. Yep, there you go. So a very simple range here, right, that we've, kind of dissected here. This is the overall range we've been basically in now since going all the way back towards June, before the lows came in. So coming around June time, at the run up to 25K, the bounce back. We had just recently, right, the last throwback down into this region, about 18,600 on Friday, the 21st of October. This untapped quarterly has been one major target for us in the group. And basically, that's exactly where we ran it up to. Yesterday on Twitter, that was basically my only post, was just that we ran it up to that, one major level. Pulling up RSI, everything was pretty gassed at that point too. You were on 80 at the 4 hour. I mean, every single, Ethereum, Doge, I mean, you name it, everything was just, pushing higher. So a pullback was in the cards. It's not been really a terrible pullback so far. I mean, it's interesting to look at the price action right now. And yesterday, we'd be excited to see where we're at today. So it's just one of those things that, just kind of pointed out, if anybody's, stressing the fact that it's coming back down a bit. Very normal, natural after a move to this nature. One thing we did do was we pushed up past, the previous highs here, pretty much coming down a back test, not out of the ordinary, to kind of put in a little sideways action here, consolidate before moving onward and upward. And you're really not doing anything, breaking trend wise. You are coming right now to the middle of the range, this little dotted line. As well. So, you're just really coming back to support at this moment. This was a really beautiful target, came in just perfectly right there at 20,900. Obviously we pushed a little higher to like right at 21K. But if we start losing where we are now, you would have to start looking back down towards, 19K areas and, things of that nature. You really don't want to see us really losing 20,100 on a closing basis, 4 hour candles and such, at the moment, at least. That would probably, kind of start to draw out the idea that we're probably going to head back lower once again. But for now, I mean, this is just a run up, cooling off. I think we'll see a little sideways action. For me, for any more upside, really want to start taking out this quarterly key level. This is now tapped. I just left this just because we were looking at that yesterday. But really, really major area, right? A high time frame average of price. So this was for 3 months, the average of price for Bitcoin. So generally on high statistical target here that we're going to come back and meet that. So obviously we did. For me now to come over and start taking out 20, basically get back above 21K, looking for 22. I think Maddie just mentioned 22.5, something in that region. So it's, pretty much in alignment with this as well. Upward about 22,100. And if we start, moving onward and upward from there, a big target for me is almost back up to the highs here. It's a weekly level that we left on the way back down, and it's 24,297. So that's just some, couple just very, 2 or 3 areas just that I'm watching for personally.
We see if we see Bitcoin back up around that 24 number, I gotta believe that we're probably going to be seeing ETH at that point up over 2K anyway. Would be my assumption. Is that probably a pretty fair statement there?
Above, we'd probably be pushing near it. I would say, because I mean that's generally they move pretty well in unison as far as percentage bases go. I mean sometimes Ethereum obviously is going to outperform. But from where we are now, that'd be about a 20% move. So yeah, put another 20%. I mean, you'd probably be in the $1,800 to $2,000 range,
something like that. So I want to switch over to the chat real quick. First of all, if you have not smashed the likes, we got 44 people in here. Hopefully everybody is doing well tonight. Thank you very much for being here. We love you guys. Follow Piano Matty B. He has a show Monday through Friday. If you didn't know, now you know. That's 8 a.m. Is that Central Time, Maddie? So that's going to be.
That is Central Time, yeah.
That's Central Time. So that's going to be 9 a.m., right? Yeah. You're an hour. Hold on a second.
Are you on the East Coast?
Yeah, we're on the East Coast.
So you're an hour ahead of me.
So I'm an hour. Yeah, so 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be, yeah, right? Yes,
no,
exactly. No.
7 a.m. No, not, yeah, you're right.
No,
right,
it's 9. It's 9.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Now that we got that figured out.
Yeah.
So 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, you can check out Piano Matty B over on obviously here on the YouTubes. And then right after that, listen, you get a double dose, and actually you can go for the triple dose. So you can go from Piano Matty B, then you go ahead and back test his information with CVO. They are Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. right after that. And then, heck, while you're at it, just stay on YouTube. Get on. Check out our boy, BitBoy Crypto. He's coming on right after that at about 11:30-ish Monday through Friday. So you can just run the gamut, and then you can check out all of our content. You guys know what to do. So, yeah, so I want to go over to the chat. Brett wants to know, it's a great question. It says, what are the panel's thoughts on the recent and upcoming economic data, and what are the short-term outlook in the next week or so? We do TA, at least I bring on a lot of the guys for TA for some of the shorter term outlook due to a lot of people that like to trade, that enjoy trading. So, Maddie, we are getting information that maybe there's a possibility that we still believe the Fed is going to raise interest rates. But we have been getting some sort of an indication that possibly it might not be quite as many basis points as it was last time. What are your thoughts on short-term outlook? What do you think it's going to take? Is it going to be, if it's 75 basis points, are we in for more pain coming up? Or if it's what we've expected, you think we'll kind of stay around where we're at? What's kind of your short-term outlook on what's going on with that?
Well, I almost feel like 75 basis points is the new zero raise. It's like, for some reason, we're all just comfortable with 0.75, and that's what it is. Well, that's what it is, and it's either baked in or no one really cares. So obviously, we probably won't see one, and then anything that's better than 0.75 is going to be bullish for the market, and everyone's going to go crazy for a while. But make no mistake, if it goes up or down, it's probably going to revert to where we are at now. So just for me as a trader, I just stay out of these things, and wait till it all settles down. But yeah, 75 is the new zero.
Well, so you said you stay out of these things. Everybody trades differently, and we've never had you on before for TA Thursday. So give the audience kind of a rundown of how do you actively trade the markets? Are there things that you stay away from? Do you actually trade these events? A lot of people say, hell no, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Some people say, I like to trade, the Fed meetings. What's kind of your style?
Well, as a younger man in the currency trading gig, I would do like a if not this, then that type of trade. So if I stop out short, it'll go long. It'll just trigger each. So it's kind of like you hedge each. But I stay out of all these Fed announcements because I just really don't care to catch that drama. And it may go up, it may go down, but it's really just the roll of the dice at that point. Crazy things happen in these Fed announcements or anything like that comes out of nowhere, right? So I just wait till the wave comes by, and then I tuck my board in and I go under the water and I come up, and guess what? Everything's back to normal. It's usually where we left off before the announcement. I mean, it'll move, but you kind of move with it, right?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I know I have in the past when I was trading more frequently, the reason that I bring you guys on, because frankly, I kind of suck at trading. I've shown that in the past. It's just not been my strong suit. We're not all great at everything. That's just something that I've not been great at. I feel like I get a little too emotional and make decisions based on greed sometimes. But I definitely resonate with, I have made the mistake of trying to trade some of these events in the past. And you think one thing's going to happen. And then the wild thing is, because I started in the stock market, the wild thing is earnings would come out and the earnings would be even sometimes better than expected, and the stock price would dump. And you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't line up. How is this that? And there's always some sort of either, finessed explanation as to why, or no explanation whatsoever. So I just figured out pretty quickly that I just don't think it matters. I think that the market's going to move the way the market wants to move, and the big players with the big money don't give a crap whether Keeper is trading this long or short. They know which way they want the market to go. CVO, what's kind of your strategy around these meetings?
So, I mean, we're very active along these dates. There's a gentleman in the trading group. His name's Max, right? He lives in Dubai, and he kind of covers our overnight shift essentially because his the time frame is so vastly different, right?
Right.
I think it's like 5 a.m. is like our 9 p.m. So, the New York session generally when we get a lot of these news events. 8:30 is a lot of the CPI reports. You get a lot of the 2 p.m. Fed results and this and that. So. We get pretty prepared for the levels at hand, and that's really, I mean, you have to be so prepared. It's not just like you in my opinion, you can't just come into this and just be like, okay, I'm just going to wait for that announcement to hit and then just have an idea in your head. You got to really be knowing what the levels that you're going to be paying attention for are and why. And then just for a perfect example, the quarterly key level that we were looking at for yesterday, right? How many people do you think were still FOMOing into the market right at 21,000?
Oh, yeah.
When knowing that we just had a huge move to the upside, you're coming into major high time frame target essentially. Many probably weren't even looking at that, and then at the end of the day, really it was 20,907. You pushed it up to 21, which is always that well-rounded number. So it just looks like, oh, I just pushed up to 21K and start pulling back, but. On days when you have these major events, generally we get a lot of consolidation right before, and then you get the explosive move during or after, which is almost just fits the bill for the markets, right? So we've had a lot of movement right now. Yesterday, day before, today it's kind of chilling out. What is today? So today's Thursday. We're heading into the weekend, right? So more than likely we'll probably start mellowing out a bit. We might get a little interesting thing over the weekend, give it all back up on Sunday night into Monday, just traditionally, and then Tuesday will probably be flat as we kind of walk into Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the actual date of the the Fed meeting, and then you'll see how it is. So you really just kind of have to strategize and prepare. That's if you're going to be short-term trading. Like if you're just DCAing and things of that nature, obviously that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And then even like Matty B said, if it's something where you really got to be glued to the computer during that window of time frame to really catch these things properly and be like prepared to cut your loss and if the thing goes against you. So we get a pretty good amount of strategy in place before, and then we're pretty active throughout that period. So.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking to be a part of CVO's trading group, CVO, what's the best way for them to track you down, brother?
If you just on our Leading Crypto YouTube channel, you can click on any of the videos there. They take you to the Discord page. We have a website that's going to launch here in a few days, make things a little easier. But definitely catch us on that morning show every Monday through Friday on Leading Crypto YouTube. So that's probably the best way.
Heck yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. We've had some information coming in that I want to touch on Dogecoin. We've had some information. I wouldn't say information's coming in. I mean, the man carried a freaking sink into. Did you see that? Did you see him carry? Listen. Sometimes when people are so incredibly intelligent, they're just. I mean, he probably carried that in, thinking that people probably saw him, knowing in advance like what the play on words was. I think sometimes they almost assume that you are in lockstep with what they're thinking. It was a very funny play on words. The man carries a sink in and basically says, Twitter, I'm taking it over. Let that sink in. And I'm like, oh my God. But that being said, Dogecoin's been ripping. Okay. For those of you that have been asleep or under a rock, Elon Musk has been the president of Dogecoin, so to speak, over the last at least couple of years. The Saturday Night Live skit, all of the different things. The top of Dogecoin surrounded Elon Musk. The bottom definitely hasn't surrounded Elon Musk, but he's been a big proponent of Dogecoin. And so one of the things that I've heard people suggesting is that as Twitter comes out with all of these different, they're moving more and more crypto centric, and we have Elon Musk taking over. So I've heard people suggesting that maybe Dogecoin will be the settlement layer, so to speak, of how Twitter is going to settle some of these transactions. I think it's probably Fugazi, as Miguel would say, but we shall see. Show me what the charts look like for Dogecoin, CBO, because I know they've been a little wild recently and they have not lined up with Bitcoin. We were talking before the show, and Maddie, you were saying how the market generally respects Bitcoin, and it does. And then there's those random outliers. Yeah, I think this is one of them. So show that to me, CBO.
Yeah, one thing that's crazy too about Elon, just to kind of touch on that, is that I think that people are really overlooking how big, you know, of a thing, of a deal it is essentially that he's basically taken over the, you know, the number one platform, yeah, at least in America, if not the world, because he is a big, you know, major component for Dogecoin and things of that nature. But he's also a huge backer of, you know, crypto. He's a Bitcoin fan. You know, he touches on that, you know, quite often, or at least has in the past. So, you know, years down the road, as things are starting to, you know, evolve in the crypto space, you know, the integration, I think, with cryptocurrency into things like platforms and things of that nature and creators. And I think that that's going to be pretty massive, you know, across the board. So I think that's a really big thing for crypto down the road. In reality, I don't think that that's necessarily what pumped Doge today technically, but, you know, it's definitely something to just kind of keep in mind. Definitely a good thing, I think, in the long run. So on a technical side of things for Doge, right? So for months, you know, anybody looking for, you know, this price action right here, obviously is, you know, offered up some opportunities. I've kind of stayed out of this, you know, since the drop right here in like 8 cents personally. Granted, like I said, you know, on a smaller scale, there's definitely been some opportunity here, but Doge is pushing into a region where this is an old range from earlier this year that basically, you know, has a ton of upside potential. So not anything to get married to, of course. Like this is, you know, just like anything else, you want to look for your confirmation. And the confirmation of this would be, well, first of all, you know, you had this huge move right here that just got basically shot it right back up to this area. Technically right now we're pretty bearish at the moment because you did just come up and you're back. You just got a bearish back test of the low, right? So this overall range right here is the one I'm talking about. That's right above us currently on the price action. And getting back into this region is would be pretty bullish, right? So this is 8.2 cents basically. Now we came up and we got rejected from here, so it's not just a guarantee you get back in this region. It's just going up, and that's why you take profits along the way, right? Just like right here, this was a perfect example. Got into this region, take profit one, stop loss break even, boom, you saved yourself from all this headache down here, right? Unless you got into it around this region. Obviously, this has been a really nice move that, you know, you might have missed out on.
Looks like Billy didn't miss out on it. Billy said he got in. Look at this. Billy said, shout out to Billy. Says he bought Doge yesterday at 0.056 and sold today at 0.07. That's a nice scalp, man. That really is. That's a nice little scalp. Good work, Billy.
That's perfect. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to bring up here is that for anybody that has not, you know, missed out or whatever, you know, there's definitely times where you don't want to chase it, right? You're not looking to buy the high and this and that, right? And right now there's very high likelihood because we are seeing a huge move to the upside. Short term, you might get a pullback. You might get a pullback out of the whole market, right? We're just looking at Bitcoin and everything looks the same. Everything's overheated. Pullback is definitely in the cards. You know, maybe we roll into the Fed meeting next week and it's, you know, whatever, you get another random whipsaw, as everybody likes to call it. But, you know, for now, for me, I'd be looking for 8.2 cents to get reclaimed. And this is on without any leverage, right? This is just a spot buy, no leverage sweats, right? You got a slew of really nice areas to be paying attention for to the upside. And this, you know, we got a daily level here that's been washed through pretty much. This is just a pit stop, in my opinion. Wouldn't be anything of substance, but it did play a pretty decent role over here. We got an untapped monthly key level, so that's an average of price. That's 18% move from that area as well. From there, I'd really be eyeballing this region right here. So this is the macro golden pocket from the overall high to the recent low. You got the point.
What is that, about 13 cents?
It is 13, yeah, 12. They're 13 to 13.4 cents. And then you got the point. So basically 13 to 14 cents, the window.
It's almost 100% move. That's a huge move. That's what, an 85% move, something like that?
70, yeah, just to this region. And, you know, like I said, no guarantee we, you know, just continue pushing up. Obviously, at this point, too, you probably have to imagine that the rest of the market is doing well also. And then you have, you know, a weekly level up just above that. We get back to the yearly open, which is actually where we basically came up and rejected off of earlier in the year. And then you got the overall high, which comes in about 18 cents. So, yeah, that's a really, really big opportunity for Doge you've had. Once again, that's without any leverage. But when coming up to this region, you know, I'd be pretty cautious, right? So I bring that up because it's like, you know, if we get this move, theoretically speaking, in the next couple of weeks here, a lot of people will probably be FOMOing in around this region once again. And that's after a major move and you're running major targets there. So 18 cents would definitely not be the area you want to get in, at least in the short term, if you do see that, you know, pushing all the way up to that region. But for now, short term, that's what I'd be looking for. But yeah, I've been eyeballing this whole range here for basically 4 or 5 months at this point too. So,
you know, Dogecoin, as much as I talk trash about meme coins, back in the day, it was a very small amount of money. I think I had $11 left over of dust from a transaction, and I 100x'd on Dogecoin, right? And of course it would be on 11 freaking dollars,
Yeah.
right? Like make all these transactions where like I'm moving like some numbers, and the 100x ends up being $11 to 1100 or whatever. But I was you know, I don't mess with the meme
Shame.
coins. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's not like I made some like epic decision. It was like, hey, I'll step up to the table and, you know, roll some dice on this, you know, going into the move with all the Saturday Night Live stuff and whatnot. And I actually got out. I could have done even a lot better. I think I was at 0.0002, and then I sold it like 22 cents. And it continued to rip from there all the way. I mean, I watched it and I was like, oh man, that could have even been a lot more, but I was happy with my 100x. So, you know, it was one of my better lucky things over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens there. Again, I don't pay a lot of attention, but Dogecoin has stayed in the top 10. Let's call it like it is. People actively watch it. They buy it, they sell it. It is the OG as it relates to meme coins. You've got to at least pay attention, whether you like meme coins or not. You know, people are paying attention to it, and the world's richest man pays attention and talks about it. So just a brief pause, guys. Make sure to smash the likes. We got 63 people in the house. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Make sure you're following Piano Matty B. His information is down below. Him and CVO both have Monday through Friday shows. So Piano Matty B is going to be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and CVO's is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So make sure to catch that. Yes, Kenton, I see you. Grimace Coin. Yes, I know. That's like the one shameful thing. You had to bring it out on me. Oh, man. I did a promote. Listen. Let's call it like it is. I told people I took a promotion for a freaking crap coin one time, and I'm never gonna live that down. You know what I mean? And I lost. Listen, I got my ass handed to me.
You didn't. You know, you told the opinion you had on it. You know, it wasn't like you were saying this is gonna 10 times.
You know what they told me? They literally told me, listen, no publicity is bad publicity. And because I told them I will not take this on if you want me to tell people that it's a good project, because it's not. And they literally said, we don't care what you say as long as you talk about it. And I just said you're right, Paul. I did do it that way. I said, hey, listen, I'm not telling you I like this project. I'm telling you, if you want to step up to the crap table and give it a shot, go for it. You know what I mean?
Crypto Billy's comment right there is perfect. Like, you know, I see people in the
what do you say? I'll trade a mud puddle
and this and I could care less about it too. I just if the setup is there, you know, this is I'll take 100% move if it's offered up, you know, and then move on. But yeah.
So Maddie, let me ask you something. So in the morning, so you used to be on, I remember, the jingle's still in my head, BitBoy Crypto Morning TS, right? So so your Piano Matty B, your morning show, are you incorporating the piano into a lot of your TA in the mornings, or what's kind of the flow of your show like?
Yeah, basically I play piano through the whole thing. It's kind of it's more like a piano lounge singer who does TA. So it's I don't do anything without the piano playing underneath it. Yeah.
How long's the show?
The show is, I like to keep it to 4 minutes, but it's always ends up being 8 minutes. I can't seem to shave it down. I start production at 3 a.m. and then 8 a.m. I pump it into YouTube. So yeah, it's quite a full-time gig.
Interesting. 3 a.m. getting it together, huh?
Yeah, got to take a look at the markets.
Better you than me. I respect it though. Okay, so gentlemen, let me get we are coming up on the midterms. You can't be on the show with Keeper without talking about something political, right? We got to bring it up. We got to bring it up. Okay, this is something that, love it, hate it, it's going to affect the markets. And a lot of times what we have seen statistically over the past is that no matter who's in office, they are trying to rub backs and finesse markets because it makes people feel good about something. What are we thinking? I'll start with you, Maddie. Are we, and I know you're in Canada, but I'm sure you get all of the information that we do on everything going on, you know, crazy here in the United States. What are you thinking about midterms coming up? Is this something that concerns you? Is it something that you short term that you're looking forward to? Is that something that you're paying attention to as it relates to how you're trading? Well,
it's going to be a market mover regardless of what happens, but I I don't understand what universe we live in that these people can basically decimate civilization, bring it to its knees, and then have the guts to stand up and say, and I'm going to try to do it again. And what's worse is that everybody seems to go along with it. Like I think that I spend most of my days thinking I'm the crazy one because this seems insane to me that this would happen. How come there isn't a revolution that throws these people out? They should all be in jail.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're not only are they not in jail, but they're seeking re-election. It's mind-boggling to me. So yeah, it'll move the market and everything will be crazy. But at the end of the day, you know, new boss is like the old boss. In Canada, we have a 3-tiered system. So instead of the false dilemma of left or right, we have like this kind of centerist thing, but it's all the same. I mean, they all gang up on each other and 2 will be 1. So it's basically we have the same garbage up here.
Yeah, and they ultimately, I don't know how it is up there, but at least here, it's all a puppet show
Right.
anyway. The World Economic Forum and all the suits that are really, you know, BlackRock and all these, you know, big money players, because, you know, money, the root of all evil, is what's you know, controlling all of this. Somebody in the chat definitely is trolling, saying Biden is like a god to me. We all know that no one on planet Earth would say that, so I'm gonna guess, Pat, that you are actively trolling the chat. CVO, sounds like you have some thoughts on midterms coming up. What you got?
Oh yeah, I was just reading the comments too. Yeah, they're pretty
no,
funny.
I see it. They're all trust me, I know Kenton, and I know he's trolling. There is no doubt.
I'm trying to think of what a good way to run this out, because I think you're going to have Magic on the show next Thursday, which is going to be a good one. And next Thursday is what, the 5th or 6th?
Next
Well, it doesn't
Thursday
matter, but
is well, I'll tell you. Next Thursday is the 3rd.
Okay, so the reason I said something about the midterms was, you know, kind of going more on the technical side here. Something that you know, I'll go ahead and admit that I was a huge advocate for the 4-year cycle, right? Until something told me that was no longer the case. And to my analysis, right, that broke, had to pivot from that, blah blah blah. But I think that it's going to be an interesting ride, because I have I have a pretty different view. You know, we've discussed it on the What If Wednesday, right, where we were kind of going over the idea that Bitcoin and crypto is just so young, right? And I know that the 4 years have kind of at this point overlapped well together so far, because there's only been, you know, 12 years of history, 3 times for the halving, or 3 times for the halvings, things of that nature that kind of have everybody, you know, in that boat, even though that, you know, we didn't have the explosive top and all these things that, like, you know, we've seen in the past for all the bull runs for Bitcoin, which in my opinion, aside from time, the timing was on there, obviously, like as the 4-year time frame came in, top came in November, but you didn't have a lot of the similarities that you saw previously, right, for all the speculation that was going into the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, we spent a lot of time now. Obviously, we, you know, very well aware we've been in a bear market for quite some time here. We're coming into exactly 1-year anniversary, right? So Magic, the gentleman, that the other analyst in the leading crypto Discord server there, he covers Bitcoin pretty heavily, but he does all coins as well, pretty amazingly also. But he is excellent in, you know, harmonics, in fib time, things of that nature. And, you know, it's his analysis, so I'm not going to go over it here, but I'll let him kind of go over it next week. But, you know, he's covered on several occasions the you know, 1-to-1, meaning the time, you know, if you extrapolate the time it took from the low to high of the last bull run, basically to come into the low now, it's lines up with essentially, you know, November 7th. And the election is November 8th. We have this huge Fed meeting coming in on a couple days previous to that. Just in general, we've been accumulating and consolidating sideways for so long, just in, you know, on a technical basis, you know, the longer the base, bigger the break type of deal, right? It's going to be interesting to see which way we go. But yeah, that election literally, you know, and you know how I am, right? It's laughable sometimes to kind of see how things unfold with the technicals and how things unfold with the charts. And then there's always seems to be a news catalyst that's paired up so that, you know, instead of it just being, well, you know, the range broke and it reached the new high, you know, reached the next level, there has to be a news reason, right, for the average person to just dissect it most times.
Right.
And yeah, it's gonna be big, man. I think that time frame, I think that November and December are going to be pretty massive for crypto and the markets as a whole. Obviously, we'll see how things kind of unfold after that. But the one thing I guess I could, just want to point out is that you got the recipe, right, for the bottom to be in. You got the recipe for, the next bull run to start, like just based on previous, ideas, right? Like to me, I think that we're really just building out the first 20-year crypto cycle alongside the housing market, right?
Right.
So that's my major idea here. And that's, I think that we will see something totally different on the macro side for crypto. I don't think we're going to just see the exact, everybody that's still comparing, and I'm guilty of this in the past. I, would look at Bitcoin's previous, price action and, just kind of go with that. But that just, I don't think that you can necessarily look back and say, oh, this time of the year, 2017 and 2014, this is what happened and this is what happened. And, it's going to happen the exact same way again, right? I just don't think we can look like that anymore. I think the market's evolving too much as we're coming into it. And all this is all about the idea that you got the election's going to hit. It's going to be 1 year after the top of the market from last year, because we topped on November 9th. And what is everyone going to pretend we get, assume we get the market moves higher, like towards some of our major targets we've been looking at for several months now, right? You're talking 28, 29, 30K Bitcoin, things of that nature, right? That would be the biggest FOMO event that, you could probably ever imagine, because not only would it be a year later, you would assume the bear market is over. You would assume that, we had the hash ribbon buy signal a few weeks back. I don't know how the elections and everything are going to work out, but, we just assume that if the market's going well, that, good news is all around you, whatever. Still a time to really be cautious and prepared, because, it could very well just, have a really nice move to the upside that we've been kind of due for, and still turn around at that point and come right back down and range out for another, several months. So, I just want to point that out, because I think that everybody will, if we get resolution of this range that we're in right now, meaning breaking above basically 25K, right? Realistically 23, 21,000, whatever it is. I think the FOMO is just going to be unreal, man. And everybody's going to be targeting 50K, the golden pocket. And once again, because you're going to look back on 2018 and where did we rally when we, ran up from 3K to 14K? We ran to the golden pocket, right? Like it's just, I could see it now. 50K is obviously also that big rounded number. That's that's the melt up target. That's all the things. So I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because, I know we kind of throw things a little what ify over here. That's very speculative at the moment, but I just did want to point out, it's just interesting to note how things are kind of aligning with the election. 1 year anniversary, basically, of the high of the market comes in around that time frame as well. And we've been basically consolidating down at what I feel is at least it's definitely the current lows. So it'd be interesting to see how things play out, but I think that November is going to be pretty explosive.
And I want to throw out there, somebody actually just threw this out there, and I know CVO in the past, I don't know where you stand right now because we haven't talked about it recently, but I think we're fellow XRP family over here. The XRP case is, they've asked for the Hinman docs, and the SEC has been told, listen, you've got to give them up. The judge said you've got to give that up. So I did a video on it today over on TikTok, and actually I did a YouTube short on it as well. So many people are getting pumped up that it's going to be over. It's going to be over. And I want to remind everybody, take a breath. Everything in the court systems takes forever. My father's an attorney. I unfortunately have a little bit of history with being a young, wild individual, and everything takes freaking forever. So the only way that I see the XRP thing lining up with kind of what CVO is talking about right now is if we get a settlement. The only way that Brad Garlinghouse said that he's going to settle is if the SEC out and out says, hey, listen, you are not a security. Short of that, they're taking this to the house. They're taking this all the way. Now, what I think, the reason I'm bringing this up, what I think would be wild would be we get a red wave, as they call it, which is theoretically should be good for capital markets. That in the past has been good for capital markets. So you have that happen. We're right, that, as you said, a year past the top of the market. The XRP case comes to a resolution, and then moving into the new year, I could see a pretty big move. But again, I want to caution people too. The facts are our world is a wreck right now. Maddie was talking about it a little bit ago. How do these people stay in office? Why are they not in
crazy.
prison? There's just absolute insanity going on. And I've been talking about for a while, just be careful. The reason that I've had people chastise me for being what they would call, quote unquote, lazy investing. But by the way, side note, my lazy investing has allowed me to stack quite a bit of ETH and Bitcoin. So I'll continue to be lazy. The DCA method works. And long term, I don't know where these markets are going. I bring you guys on to tell me the short term stuff, because all I know long term is that crypto is headed up and to the right. At least the blue chip, the blue chips, I believe, are. And I just want to caution everybody. The world that we live in today is very uncertain. And I would just throw out there that should we get some of the wild event, a show of force as it relates to war, whatever the case may be, it's an opportunity. I don't know how you look at it any other way. It's an opportunity if you got some dry powder on the sidelines. So I don't know, just throwing it out
I got a question for CVO, if you don't mind.
Hit it.
Sometimes when I kind of retrospect my history and experience in trading, I always gauge my maturity on how FOMO affects me, whether I still fall suspect to it. Like when it's happening, I still feel it, and I know I haven't matured as much as I thought. How do you handle FOMO, or do you still feel it?
No, I mean, I guess you could say, like, everybody I think experiences FOMO to some degree, but
he's got ice water running through his veins. Don't let him lie to you, Maddie.
I mean, just like, I don't know, I've made all the mistakes, man. Like, it just, as anybody else has, I got in early in, 2017. Litecoin was my first entry. It was one of three things on Coinbase at the time. So it was like $3 January of 2017. It was the cheapest one of the three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And that was my extent of research, right? I just bought the cheapest one because I could get the most, just like anybody else. That's why Dogecoin is attractive. That's why Shiba is attractive. All these cheaper coins are attractive because you can get a lot of them for less money, right? And I had an investment in there. It ended up, I literally didn't trade or do anything with it over the year. It was so hard to trade back in the day because you really only had Coinbase. You had what it was at the time, I think it was GDAX was like a trading platform there. And you had it was so odd to get onto, some of the Cryptopias and all these other like old, you couldn't even trade against USD. You were trading against crypto. Right. So I didn't trade anything. I just bought Litecoin, held it all year, and 100x by the end of the year. Right. So into Christmas time, right, I took that 100x what I did, and I dumped that into XRP, and then I dumped that into Tron. And I mean, I hit those three perfectly, right? Just bam, 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 and turned that into life-changing money, right? And then I literally lost it all over the next year, went almost back to my initial investment. And that's when I just kind of like, and all that was due to like the heaviest FOMO, right? All the wrong moves, literally buying tops and selling the bottom, like over and over again. So from there, I just was like, I've been dedicated to, trying to, understand how the market ebbs and flows. And that's why, like, the biggest thing to me is the news stuff, man. It really does, you kind of really have to take the time and like, organize what you're looking for in your technical analysis, and then kind of, line that up with some of the dates coming up and then, things that are coming your way. But for me at this point, just like we had the run up yesterday, right, to 21K Bitcoin, say we do, take the drop and pull it back down to like 19K tomorrow. Like, we've just seen moves like that over and over again. For me, I don't like, if I miss a move, it doesn't upset me anymore. I know there's another opportunity coming. There's always, a time when we're going to, switch trend again. And at the same token, I do have a long-term, I still have my initial Litecoin back. I've never gotten rid of it. Like, aside from when I dumped it into the two, I basically dumped it back into, Litecoin at the very end of that, just my initial investment. I threw that on a ledger, and that's just, sitting away. And a couple other things, obviously Ethereum and some other smaller coins as well. But so I got the long-term holds, in play. And then from here, it's like, I've just literally gotten so unattached to any of these projects as far as the price action goes, because it's just not correlated, in my opinion, to what it is. It's just like, Apple and Tesla and all these things, like, they can get, so over, extended and drop 60-70%. Does the company change anything? Maybe they had one bad earnings report. Is that really a great representation? So I've just really gotten used to the technical side of things, and I just watched the chart itself, and then just from there, it's And then the great thing about this world is that we have, you got Bitcoin, and then you got Ethereum, and then you have a slew of other, coins. And at the end of the day, it's like, if you miss something every day anyways, like if you didn't get in on Solana at $1, even though it's at 28 right now, you missed out on a life-changing move there. Cardano, everybody dogs on it, but that did 100x move last run.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just thinking back to something as petty as Litecoin. Litecoin's what, $30-$70 right now. It was $3 a couple years back. Like you miss out on something somewhere anyway. So just figure out a good time frame for yourself, and then investing and trading and things of that nature. You really got to like line up what you're going to be willing to risk. And it's a cliche term, is like, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, essentially. But that really does come down to what it is. But you really got to protect your dollars like it's your last every time you put it in the market. Like you can't just go in and go for straight liquidation, no stop loss. I know this is the bottom, or I know this is the top, and I'm just going to short, or I'm going to long, or I'm going to buy here, all in on this one area. And if that's the case, you really just got to anticipate that it's probably going to be years, before you see a decent gain there. So
yeah. Maddie, I know I love the question, because I think so many people, especially when they're newer in the market, the reality is it kind of sucks to buy red candles. It does. It doesn't feel, it
Right.
just kind of feels, especially when you're first getting in, right? It feels like you're doing something off, even though it is so spot on, right? I've heard a lot of people say, we don't buy green candles. Repeat after me. We don't buy green candles, right? But I think that as I know, for me, as I've gotten farther and farther in from 2017 till now, I think what I've noticed is it takes me a lot more to start to feel the 20%, 30% moves. Like that stuff is like all day. You start seeing 100, 200% moves, 300% moves. You start seeing it's like some big moves, and you're like, that's where for me it's like, man. But I know at this point, not happening. So Maddie, are you? Is that something that you feel like you still, as long as you've been trading, is that something that you feel like you still like actually struggle with? Do you have to set, do you have to set your actual trades, like setups in advance, so that you don't, jump in when you shouldn't?
Not really, because I do consider myself a hardened market sociopath, but I still feel the FOMO. Like it's almost like I can empathically feel the sentiment of the market just via checking comments, via checking views. I can almost sense how people are feeling, how they respond to videos, right? But so I know the FOMO's out there, but like especially when we're talking bottoms and tops, I find that the FOMO is a little bit compounded. Will I miss this bottom? Will I miss this top? So like when it comes to these price levels, I have the DCA powder that's kind of trickling in, but then the sick degen in me has the cannon that's waiting for the bottom, right? Like as if we know when that is. And so it's just, for me, even with the cannon, like I have some mental preparedness. I'm okay with that. And if it goes lower than that, I don't care. Even if it goes lower than, if I were to push all in now, I wouldn't really care. 20K, it could go down to 10, sure. But I mean, eventually it's just going to go up. So I'm pretty ice cold when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, Crypto Fam, if you didn't learn anything else tonight, you learned to stay away from the FOMO. We've seen short term. We've got a lot of indicators as it relates to just our macroeconomic conditions that are happening right now with the upcoming elections. Like CBO mentioned, we also have the 1 year. We're 1 year away from the top. I think that was November 9th. Is that right? Paul, is that right? Yeah. So November 9th will be 1 year, which is a day after the election. We've got a lot going on right now. We've got a Fed meeting coming up. There is a lot happening in the markets. So if you're looking to trade, just make sure that you have a strategy, right? We're not here for financial advice. None of us are financial advisors. We're here to entertain you and tell you what kind of we're doing and what we're getting into. But the reality, the thing that I've learned over the years, and I've learned it a lot from the other people that trade actively, is you got to have a game plan. If you sit down at the computer without a game plan, I will tell you from my experience, I have lost most every time I've sat down and said, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's try that. It just doesn't seem to work out well. It's worked out a few times here and there, but you also win a couple times when you step up to play craps as well. You just get lucky sometimes. Yeah. So Crypto Fam, we appreciate you for being here. Make sure that you're following Matty B. Make sure you're following CBO. This is the last chance. Smash the likes. Also, I didn't talk about this the whole night. Danger Close Alpha. We are somebody is going to win 5 ETH. Somebody's going to have the opportunity to win up to 5 ETH. So right now with the with where the market is, let me see what ETH's at. ETH is at 1507. So that's like $7,535. If you look at it in USD right now, that's a lot of money that we're trying to give to someone. So what do you have to do? You got to get involved. Get into Danger Close Alpha. It's dangerclosealpha.com. Jump in our Discord. Make sure that you are a holder. Let's get you into the faction war. We've got a free mint coming up. Somebody's going to have the opportunity to get into this competition and win some real money. For a lot of people, that could be life-changing. Think about it. 5 ETH. I think everybody on the panel would agree that 5 ETH in 8 years, that's going to be a number. I think we've got a number, that's giving away some opportunity there. So make sure that you guys check that out. But yeah, thank you for being here. You could be anywhere. You're hanging out with us, Debate Crypto. Follow the two gents on here. Just remember, question everything, trust nothing. And until next time, hodl like it is hot. We will see you soon.
Good night, everyone.